Hey everyone, it's December 11th, and that means that if today is your birthday, you share it with serial killer Joseph Kallinger, known as the Shoemaker, who murdered at least 3 victims in the 1970s, and that is him right up there. Kallinger was born in Philadelphia in 1935 and was placed in foster care when he was just 2 after his father abandoned the family. Despite being adopted in 1939 by the Kallingers, his life didn't get much better since they were abusive. He was forced to kneel on rocks, locked inside closets, burned with hot pokers, whipped with belts, refused food, and even forced to eat his own excrement, and at the age of 8 he was sexually assaulted by a group of neighborhood teenagers. Kallinger stole money from his parents to take other kids to the movies to try and make friends, and when it was discovered, they burned his fingers on the stove. At the age of 13, he sexually abused a young boy in the same manner he had been a victim just a few years earlier. To escape from his life, he often rebelled against his teachers and parents and dreamed of becoming a playwright or actor. When Kallinger was 15, he had a girlfriend who later went on to be his wife and mother of their 2 children. He supported the family by becoming a cobbler. The story doesn't have a happy ending, however, as he was abusive towards his wife and children, often doing the same to them that he had done to him as a child. He was in and out of mental institutions for much of his 20s and 30s after repeated suicide attempts and setting his own house on fire 3 times. His wife divorced him, and he married another woman with whom he had 5 more children. In 1972, Kallinger was arrested for child abuse after his kids went to the police to complain about his behavior. While incarcerated, he was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, with supervised family visits recommended. By 1974, he was constantly hearing voices from a floating head named Charlie he thought was following him around, and he believed God had spoken to him, commanding him to kill young boys and sever their genitalia. Kallinger took his 12-year-old son with him when he went on the search of a victim, settling on a 10-year-old boy who they tortured and killed. They then went home, where he drowned his older son, who had accused him of abuse 2 years prior, attempting to collect a life insurance policy on the boy. Along with his son, Kallinger went on a 6-week torture and murder spree, pretending to be salesmen in order to be invited inside their victims' homes. Once inside, they would tie up the residents before abusing them, leaving some victims dead. Their final murder came when they beat and robbed 8 people inside a home in New Jersey before taking one of them, a 21-year-old nurse, down to the basement where they sexually assaulted and killed her. They left behind a blood-stained shirt which had a laundry mark that police were able to trace to Kallinger. The pair were arrested, with Kallinger pleading insanity, though the courts found him sane enough to stand trial. He was sentenced to life in prison while his son was sent to a juvenile detention center until he turned 21, after which he was released. While in prison, Kallinger attempted suicide many times, including setting himself on fire, and he was transferred to a mental hospital in 1979. He died of a seizure in 1996 after spending the last 11 years of his life on suicide watch. His son changed his name and moved after release, and perhaps lives next door to you now. There were books written about his case, and Geraldo conducted an interview with him you can find online, and I recommend you watch the excellent Bill Paxton film Frailty, which has a similar storyline. If this is your birthday, I hope you have a great day. Leave me a comment so I can wish you a happy birthday. If you know someone whose birthday it is today, send them this video so I can find out all about their birthday twin. And to Joseph Kallinger, say happy birthday, you bastard!